I'm Lindsay Bugby from the Postman's Knock, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Calligraphy Spacing Cross Trails worksheet. So this worksheet is 1 page long. It's a freebie on TPK. It is super powerful as far as practice goes, but I think it's one of the most underappreciated resources on the TPK website because people just don't understand first how to use it or why to use it. So first let's talk about why you would use it. Calligraphy is basically just eyeballing it. The whole time that you're writing, you are using your judgment to figure out spacing. And sometimes, especially when you're in the beginner or intermediate phases of learning calligraphy, it can be really intimidating to figure out the spacing because, you're just depending on you. You're not depending on any mathematical sort of system or anything. It's just impossible to use one. So this worksheet really trains your eye. So unlike other drill sheets on TPK, which are more focused on, teaching you how to control the pen and how to make smooth letter forms, this worksheet is just solely dedicated to training your eye in order to, make nice calligraphy spacing, visually appealing spacing. All right, so let's talk about how to use it. You'll see that you have these 4 quadrants here. So each quadrant is its own thing, okay? So you're only concentrating on one at a time. And in these quadrants, you have rows and columns. So, very quickly, I'm using Iron Gall ink here and a Browse Extra Fine 66 nib. The first thing you're going to do, if you're right-handed, start on the left. If you're left-handed, start in the right. We're just doing that to keep things from smudging. And then start with an O. All right, so what you're going to do is trace over this O and then go over to the next O, trace, go over. Just keep on like that. We'll do this first row. I'm not warmed up yet today. I'm really feeling it. But I can guarantee you by the time I get to the second quadrant, I'm going to be warm. Okay, so you have your first row. That would be a row. And then what you're going to do now is concentrate on the second row. And this is going to be a little bit tougher because this is where that eyeballing it technique comes in. So you have your first O done here for you. And then for the second one, you want to put that O underneath the O right above it. So that's where the eyeballing it comes in. And then for the next one, same thing. Next one, same thing. And so on. And so forth. And you can pick up your pen between O's if you want to, you don't have to. And there we go. So these are roughly correct. You can see that my O's aren't perfect as far as being under the one on the top row, but that's okay. They're pretty accurate. So that means that, I'm getting some quality practice in here. So I'm going to fill in the rest of the O's. I'm going to speed the video up so you don't have to watch me do it in real time, and then we'll do the columns. All right, so I've got all of my rows there, and now it's time to do the columns. So in order to do the columns, what you're going to do is rotate the page. Make sure that your ink has dried. It looks like mine is, yes, dry. Because I'm in Colorado, it's really dry here. If you're in a more humid climate, wait longer than I did. And then what you're going to do is put O's in the middle of the columns of O's, or the rows of O's. So let me show you what that looks like. You go like this, then make an O in the center. This, make an O in the center. So we're just really using our judgment to make consistently spaced O's which sort of mimics, well, not even sort of, it does mimic what you're going to do when you're creating calligraphy in real life. There are going to be a lot of instances in which you are going to have to use your best judgment in order to make letter spacing that makes sense, right? Because in calligraphy, not all letters are the same widths. Just think about the difference, for example, between an M and an I. And a lot of us, when we're creating calligraphy, don't make two letters exactly the same way. So you might want to make a G, for example, that has, a very embellished tail. And in that case, maybe you want to make the letter beside that G a little bit further from the G or closer than you would if you were using a tail that was connecting to the next letter, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's fine. Just trust me, this worksheet is really good practice when it comes to making calligraphy that, has harmonious spacing. All right, again, I'm going to speed up the video. All right, and that is all done. So at this point, I think a lot of people get confused. Okay, so do I make O's for the rest of the quadrants? No. I mean, you can, it's still going to be good practice, but it's a good idea to really switch those letter formations up, just, to keep things fresh. So you've got your O's here. Now, try something else. For a really good challenge, you could always go A, and then B, C, D. You see how I'm using these O's as guides for my letter placements? So that's what these faint O's on the worksheet are for, is to just guide you as far as where to actually put your letters. So yeah, you don't need to only make O's. I wouldn't encourage it, in fact. And then I'm going to speed up the video again. Now, if you opt to do this, what you're going to find is it's actually a lot harder, because since you're not doing the same letter over and over, it can be difficult to figure out where your rows are. And so it's a really, really good challenge. I'm going to, that looks like it's dry. Going to turn the page and speed up the video to do the columns. Okay, so you can see what that looks like. Actually really, really cool. So if you are wanting to be ambitious and do the alphabet on that, you can absolutely do that. And then for the rest of the worksheet, I leave that up to your discretion. So you can do any letter you want to, maybe do D or K, P. Just all of this spacing is going to give you a lot of really quality practice that translates to better calligraphy. Again, it's just a really, really good way to train your eye in order to create calligraphy that has spacing that is harmonious but not mathematical. So that's what we're working on here. Of course, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Just ask in the comments. I'll be happy to get back to you. And I hope that you found this video to be informative and that you like the free worksheet.